Good evening. Welcome to the Stadium of Light in Lisbon for tonight's edition of Daily Records Hotline Live. We've actually even managed to ram-raid our way onto the stage here for the press conferences. And I think we might get kicked out.
I'm sitting in Steve Clarke's seat.
Well, that might be a good sign.
I know.
Well, we've been here since Friday. What's your impressions been so far of the city? It's been brilliant, and Lisbon's a great place.
Great to be back with our travels again, isn't it?
It is.
After our summer exploits. Lisbon's been beautiful, absolutely stunning. You've been here a few times more than me, so you've been my kind of tour guide, obviously, for the last couple of days. But no, it's been great.
Well, let's just say, Scotty, there is some pictorial evidence which says that you've settled in. You're certainly throwing yourself into it. Oh, well.
That was a quiet night.
The thing is that you bought them sunglasses. But it's all right. So listen, it's all well and good me and you having a laugh. But there's some serious business that we're going to have to attend to tonight. I must say, I don't fancy it much, do you?
No, I mean, you're getting in here with a bit of trepidation, a bit of fear. I mean, a lot of talk, obviously. Cristiano Ronaldo getting his 900th goal the other night, and you can imagine.
So now he's setting off in the path 1,000.
Exactly, aye, and he's probably looking at Scotland as perfect cannon fodder. But listen, of course he's going to be a threat, but you almost you're getting kind of distracted almost for the other players that Portugal have got. I mean, you've got
Fernandes, world class all over the pitch.
Rafa Leao, I mean, Neves. I mean, the list is endless. So as much as Ronaldo is obviously going to be a threat, they've got talent all over the park, and it's going to be really interesting to see how a Scotland team low in confidence at the minute tries to deal with it.
I'm tempted to say that Ronaldo's a spent force now anyway. I think the threat comes from all over the pitch. It's not really Ronaldo. Say that Ronaldo might well score 1, 2, 3, whatever, but
it sounds ridiculous, but I thought Portugal were actually hindered at the Euros because of Ronaldo's presence. There's a lot of talk during the tournament. Roberto Martinez taking them off and playing in the 90 minutes and playing him when he was taking
every free kick and every dead ball situation. I think these words doubtless will come back to haunt us, but I'm okay with Ronaldo being in this team.
So am I, but I think tournament is different. I think this game tonight, with respect to Scotland, I know we're joking about it, but Ronaldo will be looking at it as a great opportunity to go on the road to 1,000, get his next 100 goals. So,
well, I mean, what is it? We've conceded 31 goals in the calendar
games.
Yeah, in the calendar year, 31 goals.
Yeah,
and it's actually made me wonder, about Angus Gunn as well, because he came in and he looked really, really impressive when he came in at first. I was really delighted with the way that he came in, took the number 1 shirt on, took responsibility on, looked good, looked calm, looked confident. But it's almost as if he's getting a little bit gun shy. He's been in the firing line too much.
Well, we had a chat the other night, didn't we? I mean, he's obviously a very good goalkeeper, but he's probably been spoiled early years with Craig Gordon, Alan McGregor, David Marshall.
Yeah.
These guys were top class, and at this level, they made saves that you maybe wouldn't expect your keeper.
They shouldn't be saving.
Whereas I don't think Gunn is quite at that level. I don't think he's made many saves yet in a Scotland jersey that you think, oof, no, that should have really been in.
He's a clean pair of hands, but he's not a spectacular.
I agree.
A maker of spectacular saves.
Although I don't think, I heard a few people saying he should have got Poland's opening goal the other night. Should have got to it. I don't buy that. That to me,
no, that's absolutely zero chance for that.
Right in the corner, right off the inside of the post, and it bounces right in front of him. So, but you're right, he's going to be busy tonight, and listen, if Scotland are going to get anything out of this, which is unlikely, he will need to make those saves that we're talking about, the ones that he's not expecting.
Unquestionably. Now, just to further complicate matters, of course, we came to the press conference last night. It was supposed to be a 7:30 start, which we think was, that's pretty late on a Saturday night for a press conference. But it turns out we didn't start until 9:20 because logistical nightmares and a sort of slapstick travel arrangements that were made by Scotland in order to get them here. Steve Clarke clearly unhappy about it. Why you charter your own plane fly it for 3 hours and still end up 2 hours away from your destination. Beggars belief.
It was farcical. I mean, when we get the message last night, I don't know about you, but when the message came through last night that the team had landed in Portugal, but we're still 2 hours for Lisbon, I thought it was a wind-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely thought.
I actually thought.
Can't be true.
I wondered if Craig Levine. Do you know what? There's a reason that name just came out. I actually wondered if Steve Clarke was doing a Craig Levine, because in previous, when towards the end of Craig Levine's time, rather than come and do the press conference on time, I'm not hurrying to do that.
Yeah.
Take the players and have dinner. I actually just assumed we've flown into Lisbon. How on earth can it take more than 2 hours to get to the stadium? But it transpires that they're in a military airbase nearer to Spain than Lisbon.
The flight to Lisbon is only about 2.5
Exactly.
hours. We need another 2 hours.
So you've actually flown over the top of Lisbon. and the serious thing is about that, it does the kind of, you can only suspect or surmise that part of the reason for that is cost cutting. That it's cheaper to park that plane in a deserted former military base than it is to park it at Lisbon International Airport for a couple of nights. And Steve Clarke has made such a big thing about that, about preparation, but being highly professional. He's moved the players. They don't stay in the Orium anymore. They didn't like it. They've moved to 5-star hotel in Glasgow city centre. Because his big thing is these guys are playing with Man United and Aston Villa and Liverpool, and they are used to a certain standard at their clubs. They don't want to come away to the international and feel as if they're being made to, suffer or put up with the kind of things that are laid on for them.
And Ryan Christie, God love him, being the kind of boy that he is, was so diplomatic when he came to the press conference saying, it was fine, or shouldn't affect us too much. But I bet you there are at least a few. And
they'll be unhappy. They'll be furious. These are professional athletes. They're coming into this to play in the Lions Den against Portugal. They've had a 3-hour flight. They were stuck in the tarmac for over an hour at Glasgow Airport because of mechanical failure with a conveyor belt. So they're sat there that length of time. They've then got the 3-hour flight. They've then got to get themselves onto a bus and drive for another 2 hours. They were late having their dinner. These little things, I know that they were late having their dinner, old diddums, right? What a major inconvenience. But actually, ridiculous. Yes, down with sports science and all that, this is actually quite a big deal. And there's absolutely no excuse for it.
And see if Steve Clarke was questioning it as he was last night when they eventually got here. You can bet your bottom dollar Andy Robertson, Scott McDermott, a few others were getting on that bus at this military base last night saying, sorry, what day?
What is this? We've just flown past Lisbon.
Just been on a plane for 3 years. Where are we going?
Listen, we're talking about that, Scott. We were here last night, and obviously, Steve Clarke said his bit. I think we've got some footage of that from last night, so we should probably take a look at it, because you can clearly see in it that Steve Clarke is far from happy with the circumstances that he's dealing with here.
Just in terms of the travel out here, I know there was delays in Glasgow, and then you didn't fly into Lisbon. You flew into another airport quite a couple of hours away. Can you
I think it was in Spain.
Can you give us some clarity as to why that kind of route was chosen? I know the delays were out with everyone's hands. But
to be honest, I can't. It's something that we have to look at after this. But listen, we're here now, so let's crack on with the football questions.
Can I just ask you, though, how frustrating and how that doesn't help plans? It's a quick turnaround already, isn't it? Maybe it's the last thing you need? Yeah,
quick turnaround, but listen, we've got a good group of players. They'll turn up tomorrow, don't worry, and they'll be fresh and ready to go.
Just in terms of that turnaround and what you were speaking to us about eradicating errors, how do you go about, imparting your words of wisdom to the players and trying to eradicate those errors? Because there isn't much time to work on things, is there?
No, but you can speak a lot. You can watch videos. You can work that way. The thing is just to get inside the mind of the player and make them aware that when you play against pot one teams, top sides, and certainly we play one of the best sides tomorrow, one of the best European sides. They have to be focused, and any small mistake that you make gets heavily punished.
Forgive me for asking again, but the travel stuff, I mean, to your mind, is it avoidable? Should it not ever happen? It does seem kind of crazy that you've flown in.
Yeah, but I think it's something for me to discuss with the powers that be after this trip. So I've got to focus on the game coming up.
In terms of the game then, I mean, obviously we spoke the other night about the defence. Do you feel as though the defenders that you're going to pick will have the capability to handle something like Cristiano Ronaldo and the attacking threats?
Yeah, of course. Of course, that's what they have to do. That's why they play football. I think when you play football, you want to play against the best teams and the best players. You want to challenge yourself, and it'll be a challenge tomorrow. So we have to step up. I've got to be honest. I think defensively we actually played well the other night. If you take out the individual errors, but as I spoke earlier to Jane, that's something that you have to work on, and these players have to find a way to concentrate for the whole game and not make that kind of mistake.
Steve, you're obviously meticulous in your pre-match planning in terms of when the players are eating and when they're doing the video and all that. How has today's kind of chaos impacted on what you wanted to do and what have you not been able to do because of it?
Not the only thing is the lads will be having their dinner in the hotel now, and I'm sitting here starving. But they're at the hotel. They'll be eating. So the only real downside, apart from the length of time that it took us to get here, is the fact that the dinner's probably a couple of hours later than they would normally eat it.
No tempting fate here, but Cristiano Ronaldo's never scored against a Scottish team in 4 games. 900 goals is an incredible feat. I mean, you obviously want to preserve that record, I would imagine.
It'd be nice if nobody scored against the Scottish team tomorrow from a Portuguese point of view. So that's what we have to aim for. Listen, Cristiano Ronaldo is the player he is. Everyone knows about him, but Portugal have got 1 or 2 players that are just as dangerous.
Can I ask about Ben Doakey? Made a great impact when he came on the other night. I know he's still very young and we kind of say that about him, but is he ready, do you think, to start a Scotland game, or do you still have to be careful with him?
We have to protect Ben. I think he came off the bench the other night and he showed some good attributes. He's a young man who's building a career. I'm not really sure the last time he played 90 minutes, to be honest. He's had a long period out from January, injured. Obviously was still injured in the summer. He's had minutes off the bench for Liverpool pre-season. He's just gone to Middlesbrough. So he's not ready to play 90 minutes. He's certainly not ready to play 90 minutes at this level, but we will try and bring him along slowly across the next couple of years, and hopefully he progresses and becomes a big player for the country, but we have to protect the boy.
Interesting that, isn't it? Protect him. We need to protect Ben Doak. Are we the only country in the world that gets a potential superstar coming through and says, the last thing this boy needs to do is play? We need to protect this boy.
Feels that way. When you look at,
Jamal.
Aye. For Spain in the summer, going in it. Was he 16, 17?
16, yeah.
17 birthday at the tournament. So, no, it doesn't bother him. But listen, I get it in terms of Doak has played a lot of football.
Yeah.
He's come out of a fairly long-term injury. Obviously had minutes at Liverpool. I know he's played a wee bit of the pre-season. I thought when he came on the other night for Scotland, he did give us that wee spark, just his pace. I know it was just a wee cameo.
It's just there's an electric burst there, isn't there? And that troubles teams at this level.
And also just
at any level.
Just his natural width. We spoke about it the other night. I think that McTominay goal that Ralston set up. I didn't see Ralston making that run all right before that, but as soon as Doak came on, it was as if I've got this natural winger in front of me. I can go and make that run, and he'll find me.
Similar to what he does at Celtic.
Exactly,
yeah.
And it sets up a second goal, so he definitely gives us something totally different.
Right, well, we've got Peter McNabb. Someone's head should roll that carry on with the team getting to Portugal yesterday. This is another example of SFA penny pinching, with the players paying the ultimate price or paying the price.
Talking about paying the price, I mean, I was looking at Steve Clarke's face there, the face like fizz. Obviously, when he walked in last night, it reminded me how I looked when I got that bar bill at the Sky Bar last night. You took me. I was certainly ashen-faced.
Well, to be fair, Scotty, I think that you're making it sound here as if I'm not standing around.
He did, to be fair.
Not fair, but it was a nice Sky Lounge, wasn't it? Thoroughly
Very nice.
recommended.
Wee bit out of our league, right enough.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was nice.
Well, a couple of the guys in the company actually just did a reverse ferret and bolted for the elevator as soon as they got up.
Aye, that was a wise move.
It was, and the Avenida de Libertad Daddies, thoroughly recommend it if you're out here, guys. Bring your wallet, plenty of it. No, but the stuff about the playing, we don't want to lay the point here because we do have a game to be getting on with, but, you know, sometimes little things can be used and players look for excuses. If this goes bad tonight, and there's every chance that it might go bad, are we going to end up with players saying, well, you know, and because I'm not saying they wouldn't have a point, they do have a point. This should have been so much better than it was.
Well, that's the risk that the SFA have ultimately taken in their organising.
It's not for the first time, by the way. This has happened over and over the years with the SFA.
Because you know for a fact that if it goes badly tonight, not only will the players no doubt speak about it as not being ideal preparation, but it'll just be mentioned and it just adds to the whole
The sort of shambles about it. And at a point where, you know, ahead of the Euros, we were making the point, all the players love coming away with Scotland now. They love it.
Exactly.
They love the way they're being treated. They love being part of it. They just love everything about the international setup. Bit by bit, you're starting to think, have we seen signs here that this isn't the enjoyable experience that it was 6 months ago?
You would hate to think some players are having those kind of thoughts, those negative thoughts. I mean, Shea Adams has pulled out the squad unusually for this trip, albeit Steve Clarke's adamant that he's picked up an injury at Torino.
I think he's been training all week at Torino, funnily enough.
But you would hate to think that some players would maybe go away. I mean, another international break in a month's time when we go to Zagreb for Croatia away, you would hate to think some players would look at that and go, don't fancy it. I don't fancy getting dropped off in Slovenia. You know what I mean? Again, then get a bus. Get
an Uber.
Exactly. So, listen, you would hate to think that would happen because you're right. We were in that place a long time ago when players were pulling out left, right, and centre. That's what you need to give Steve Clarke
credit for. He's done so much to turn this into a better experience for the players, a better place to be. But also results play a big part in that, don't they? And we were on a great run of results, qualification for the Euros. And then about a year ago, we went to Seville, and since then the results have fallen off a cliff as well. And that's a worry, especially going into this Nations League group when we're in with the big boys. And, you know, it doesn't get much bigger than Cristiano Ronaldo at the Stadium of Light. Yeah. We're about to have to go out there and face that.
I just think the confidence is taking such a hit. You think of where we were in that campaign, you know, beating Spain and the Oslo, the late one in Oslo. I mean, it did genuinely. Remember the Denmark game at Hamden as well?
Yeah, brilliant.
Flying, I mean, felt genuinely as if it could get against any team in Europe.
And it was actually a joy to watch as well. Exactly. It looked like they were having great fun doing it and we were having great fun watching it.
Yeah, but I just think, going back to the Euros in the summer, I mean, I know I've spoken about it a million times, but you know, what's that done to the players' confidence, self-belief? I think some of them look shocked.
Terrified.
Do you know? The players have said that themselves, talking about nerves getting into the tournament, getting into those games. So how you get that back? I mean, what is it now? 1-1 in 13?
13. Yeah, 13. And that was a 2-0 against Malta.
Gibraltar,
sorry.
Even worse.
Even worse.
So you think could be 1 in 14 and then Croatia away up next. I think after Croatia away, it's Portugal at Hamden. I mean, you're struggling to find where's the next point.
Well, we did say before this kicked off against Poland last week that Poland at Hamden was the one game where you would look at and think we've got a reasonable chance of getting 3 points from that.
Shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah. So, guys, I really appreciate the comments coming in. Thanks as always, and please keep them coming. You can get them. You can contact us and leave your comments on across all our social media sites. I've got another one here relating to Ben Doak. This one from Graham Brown. Clarke has to give Doak a start, but what's the chances of the manager being brave enough to give him the nod next to none? He's not going to start him. No. I think we can say that with 100% certainty.
No, he said last night, didn't he? He's not ready to play 90 minutes. Now, I suppose our argument, as we touched on last night...
Go and let him play 45 or 60 then.
Go and try and get...
The first.
Try and get 60. I mean, look, tactically, Steve Clarke knows far better than us, but can't help but feel getting into a game like this where Scotland are going to be under the cosh. There's periods in the game where you're going to be backs against the wall. I think that's undoubted. I think with a Doak or a Conway playing up there, it would just give you that out. It would just give you energy, pace, the capability to run into channels, because obviously we're going to try and get up the pitch. I'm not sure Lyndon Dykes is giving us that at the moment. I don't
So what you're
him.
saying is that you drop Dykes and play Doak? Doak and Christie?
No, I don't think I would drop Dykes. Would you play Dykes? Right. After all night.
Probably not, but I'd probably play Shankland.
But I think Doak, listen, he's not going to throw him in to start against Portugal, are you right?
He's not going to. It's just not going to harm.
But Doak, I think we watched the Scotland under 21s recently, and Doak was excellent a year ago, playing up front on his own against teams like Spain and running them ragged. By the way, just with his electric, searing pace.
And when Steve Clarke and Scott McDermott used the same word as well, didn't he? Or Andy Robertson the other day, talking about protecting Ben Doak.
Yeah.
It probably is this thing that guys like me and you look at that, see what he can do playing centrally against under 21 level, and think he's our version of wee Messi, he's a wee mini Messi, a wee Mick Messi, and that probably doesn't help if people start building him up too much.
So I've
just built him up too much. But do you know what? Jurgen Klopp built him up. Jurgen Klopp built him up to such an extent that Jurgen Klopp didn't want him to leave Liverpool on loan because he felt he was the natural successor to Mo Salah.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing saying, right, I'm an idiot, and I've just said that. Jurgen Klopp seems to know what he's talking about.
Listen, he certainly gives you a completely different option up front. It's not going to be for the start tonight, but you would certainly hope that he can win at some point. And I think if you asked, even though he's only an 18-year-old kid, I think if you asked somebody like Ruben Diaz, one of the best centre-backs in the world, who you'd rather go up against, physicality, or a wee Ben Doak running about and running into channels, chasing balls, I think you would rather face Dykes.
But we're not going to see it. I think we'll see Ben Doak hopefully from the bench in the second half.
Yeah.
But that depends. Do you want to put him on if it's really going badly for us? You want to throw the young kid on in that situation? I'm not sure. So
I don't think it'll bother him though, Jacko. I think maybe some young players that maybe would affect him. I think we've got.
Thanks for that, boss. Throwing him on at 5-0 down.
But I don't think that'll bother Doak. I don't think much phase.
Bother that we're 5-0 down.
No, coming on in that situation, I don't think any phases him. He's fearless, and his attitude. He's got that kind of cocky attitude. But it was a great line for John McGinn the other day. Did you hear it? Talking about when they met up again for this camp, and there was only about 9 there at first. They were waiting on other players arriving. They started talking about Euros, and Doak confronting McGinn and other experienced ones just says, it's a pity I didn't stay fit, or it'd have been a lot better. That was brilliant. That's the kind of callous thing that we need. You know what I mean?
Right, well, and the flip side of that is Peter Cairns. Hope I'm wrong, but I fear for Scotland tonight. Early Portugal goal, and it could be 3 or 4. He's right, isn't it?
Could be.
I mean, we're probably thinking as much along the same lines.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, is it 93? 93, a team of Scotland team died.
Yeah.
Andy Roxburgh put it in this very stadium. I was only 13, Jack. I don't know what age you'd have been.
What year was it? 95?
93.
93. 21.
So, I mean, even at 13, I remember it well. Alan McCoy's broken leg. So Paulo Futre got a hat-trick that night for Portugal. I mean, it was a messy night for Scotland. And this does, without wanting to curse it already, the game's not kicked off yet, but it does have a kind of feel that if Portugal, as your man says, if Portugal score early and they fancy it, you've spoken about it, what the crowd's like.
The noise levels in this stadium are going to be
they just want more and more when they get to, they want 3 and then 4. I mean, it's a major test for Scotland. But we knew that when the draw get made. We knew that when we did brilliantly to qualify for League A and get in amongst the big boys. This is what we wanted. So somehow this squad and the manager have to conjure up a performance and a result to get us out this rut.
And the concern being, and it has been mentioned before, that if this run of bad results continues, and you have to say there's a chance that this run of bad results will continue all the way through this Nations League group, it just cranks up slowly but slowly the pressure, and there's a little bit, I feel now, and I'm sad to say it, a little bit of a disconnect between the support and the team.
I think so.
And that just wasn't there ahead of the Euros. I think that the fans felt let down by the team and the manager at the Euros. And it's all building a little bit of negativity. And here's case in point. Clara Bergman says, Clarke out, Moyes in straight away before the World Cup qualifiers. He has stated his interest, I think she's talking about David Moyes' interest in the Scotland job, but didn't want to talk about it through respect to this thing. Well, you're not showing him much respect there, Clara. SFA get it done 5-0 Portugal. It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
That's pessimistic. You're right, the pressure will build. And I've said it before on here that it's okay Steve Clarke saying he's earned the right to start the World Cup qualifiers. And he has, because he goes to 2 tournaments when we were at a low ebb. He's done brilliant. We've spoken about it. But ultimately, this Nations League campaign was always going to be a problem if it was negative result after negative result. And I agree with you. I think we've lost a bit of that connection between the fans and the manager, and it is down to the performances at the Euros.
That all said, Scott, I saw a lot in the game against Poland that I was actually very pleased about.
You felt a wee bit coming back.
I actually felt from that performance, if Scotland had performed with that sort of aggression and ambition in the Euros, I don't think there would be this kind of hangover after the Euros. I think if we'd got the same results but performed like that, they would have I think it would be a happier camp just now.
Okay, so why did we not do it then?
That's what I can't understand.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I still can't understand why Billy Gilmour was dropped for the opening game. It's just, these things are just beyond my comprehension. Here we go. Another comment coming in from Stuart Stansfield. Needs 4 changes today. Need to have a go at them. We are losing because of mistakes.
Can you really come here and have a go at Portugal?
I don't think you can, but I think you can be brave on the ball the way we were against Poland. I don't know if we can go and press them just as high up as we pressed Poland at Ham, didn't we?
The night we were in Amsterdam for the Holland game for an hour. I know it ended up a 4-0.
I wasn't there for that one, but it was a brilliant performance. Yeah,
brilliant, absolutely brilliant for an hour in terms of keeping the ball, doing what you need to do against a top level
nation. Yeah,
and that's keep the ball, have confidence and bravery in possession to get you up the pitch, create chances. Scotland actually did that.
And
that night,
we're at our best. We've fully utilised our midfield. Well, it seems to me to make no sense. The Germany game of going back to long balls over the top of our missing out the midfield. The one chance we've got against the really top nations is trying to control the ball when we get it and keep it. And to do that, we need your technicians. We need Billy Gilmours. We need John McGinns. We're obviously going to miss Callum McGregor.
Yeah.
But we've got players in that area of the pitch that can keep the ball. They're good. They're very, very good at it. It's what they do. Billy Gilmour being the prime example. And that's what I think I want to see from us out there tonight. I want to see us not be scared, not launching at 50 yards and then trying to defend the penalty box when it's coming back in.
Right.
But try and play through Portugal when you can. Keep the ball when you can.
But that takes confidence, and that's what I'm worried about. I don't know if the confidence is taking such a dent for the Euros, the games before the Euros, into the tournament, and obviously post-tournament now as well. I just don't know if there's that self-belief there. But you're 100% right. I think that night in Amsterdam, if I'm right, I'm sure it was Gilmour, McTominay and McGinn in midfield. McGregor must have played.
McGregor as well.
It was, and McGinn and Christie were actually coming in, and we were actually numbering Holland in there for an hour. That's what we have to do. That you're right. You need to play through midfield because that's where our best players are, and that got us chances that night. And I know it went awry in the last kind of 20 minutes.
That was freakish.
That can happen.
That was freakish.
That can happen. But Shankland misses a gilt-edged chance clean through to make it. I think to make it 1-0.
Would have been 1-0, yeah.
Yeah. So it needs that kind of performance. Then in terms,
by the way,
if we keep the ball.
I'll tell you this, Scott. If we go out there and play like that against Portugal, and even if we're on the end of a sore one in terms of the result, if we play like that, if we perform like that, if we lay down the sort of blueprint that this is what you can expect to see going forward from Scotland, then I think most people will accept that.
Yeah.
Most people.
It'll just be interesting to see, and I don't know what you think, how many changes he'll make tonight. I know he's no renowned, no manager that's renowned for wholesale changes. It's just interesting. Does he go to a back five tonight to be more defensive?
I don't think so. I think we'll stick with the 4.
I think he'll be tempted. I think you're probably right. I think he will probably stick with the 4, but I bet you it's in his mind to go for a 5. He can bring Ryan Porteous or some suitor in to go beside Hanley and McKenna if need be. But I think you're right. He probably will go with a 4, and hopefully that will result in a performance that's a bit more progressive.
There's another comment coming in, Scott. It's James Dietch. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, James. Going forward, Scotland looked good. We must be talking about the Poland game.
Yeah.
Passing the ball between the backs and the goalie, not so good. Our defence let us down dreadfully. Unfortunately, we are stuck. And you want to put an extra one in there.
Well, I didn't say I wanted to, but I think Steve Clarke might want to. Listen, he's right. I think defensively we're struggling. You mentioned the stat earlier on in the ball. We're effectively losing 2-point-something goals every game we play. I mean, that just cannot continue.
I think the one thing you can say to counter that is, Scott, and I think Steve Clarke would probably concede now it was a mistake. He handpicked these friendlies against the bigger nations to get us ready for the Euros. It backfired, just knocked everybody out of their shell. And that has played a big part in the amount of goals we're losing. Because we're playing against better teams, we're playing against the top notchers.
Yeah, and as I say, when you lose games like that, the confidence gets eroded slowly but surely. And then even the other night, against Poland, who I don't think are one of the top nations.
No.
Again,
But they're in this.
Individual errors of Costas. But the worry is, who else has he got at the back? Who's coming through after Grant Hanlon?
Well, we have got some injuries just now, which don't help.
Yeah, but we're effective. We've got John Suter, we've got Ryan Porteous, we've got Scott McKenna, we've also got Jack Hendry, who's not here. That's about it. You know what I mean? It's difficult to see. It's hard to see how we're going to improve defensively, with those same players. But I suppose we go back to the qualifying time. We looked relatively solid.
Exactly. And I think we go back as well to what I'm saying. Keep the ball in.
Yeah.
If your defence is a little bit dodgy, if you think you're vulnerable, the best way to protect your defence is to keep the ball off the opposition.
Of course.
And we've got the midfield players that can do that. Here's another one coming in from Barry Johnston. It's time for Clarke to ask serious questions of his goalkeeper. Subject we touched on. Angus Gunn is letting more into the back of his net than his old man used to. A bit naughty. Yeah. He could do with a big 90 minutes, couldn't he? I mean, just to build his confidence back up.
Could do with a clean sheet, but tonight he needs a big performance. He's going to need to make saves. I mean, that's a certainty. And as we said earlier, it's going to need to be saves that can dig us out a hole. It can't be a case that every shot Portugal hits going into every decent shot.
It's flying into the back of the net.
Just you can't afford to have one of the kind of nights. So it's a big night for them. I think it is coming under a wee bit of pressure. I don't think it's just us talking about him or the caller. I think generally Scotland fans are starting to question it a wee bit.
I just think he looks a little bit shaken. As you said, one big night, one big performance might get his self-confidence back a little bit. He looks to me as if he's a little bit gun-shy at the minute, which isn't handy when you're coming to this place.
No.
Right, Scott, I think that's just about us. We better go and get ready to do the match report and get up to the Tribune. Before we go, give me your scoreline prediction. We've heard a few. What's yours?
I'm going to go, it hurts me to say it, but I'm going to go 3-0 Portugal.
Do you know what? I would probably sign for 3-0 Portugal right now.
Aye.
Is
it that bad?
I think they're just a different quality of team. But do you know what? Ever the optimist, I'm going to go
4-1.
2-1 Portugal.
Aye.
I would take that all day long. And I just want us to go out there and play.
Performance, as you say, you can lose 3-1, 4-1 or whatever, as long as you show up well in the game.
Don't look scared. Don't look intimidated. Don't look frightened. It is a frightening place. I've said before, when Portugal score a goal, the noise that's built up. Because I was here 20 years ago for the Euros, and that was one thing that struck me. They don't celebrate a goal at us. It's that they don't shout yes like we do.
It's that kind of roar.
They shout goal, and it comes out as a roar, and it's almost, the place sort of feels as if it's shaking. So it is an intimidating place. I just want our guys to go out there tonight and not be scared by it. Put on a performance and just shows signs that, you know, lessons have been learned, and we know this is going to be a difficult group, but just give us enough to know that you guys are progressing and you're not intimidated and you're not frightened the way that it appeared at the Euros. So, yeah, 2-1 Portugal. Come back to me on that one tomorrow. Back, just as well we're travelling back tomorrow. Right, guys, listen, thanks very much for joining us again. And, you know, keep the comments coming in, join in the debate. As I said earlier, you can get comments, questions, whatever you like, just send them in across all our platforms, YouTube, etc. And Scotty, we might as well go up the stairs now and see what's waiting for us. Cheers.